Welcome to this explainer. When we picture ancient Greek heroes, we usually think of these towering, muscle-bound figures of pure physical strength, right? Well, Odysseus completely breaks that mold. We're going to dive right into the defining moment of a legendary king who was famous not for his brawn, but for his brilliant, honestly kind of dangerous mind. And it all kicks off with a war that changed absolutely everything.
Imagine surviving a brutal, bloody war for 10 straight years. You finally win, and this immense wave of relief washes over you, only to realize, wait, the nightmare isn't ending. It's actually just getting started. So what exactly happens when winning the war is literally just the prologue? To really grasp that terrifying reality, we first need to look at the life Odysseus was forced to leave behind.
The absolute tragedy here is the sheer contrast. Over in Ithaca, Odysseus had it all: a quiet, peaceful island kingdom, his fiercely intelligent wife Penelope, and their little boy Telemachus. But across the sea in Sparta, that peace totally shattered. When Prince Paris took Helen to Troy, it was seen as this unforgivable insult. King Menelaus literally called in every favor, gathering an unprecedented armada of thousands of warriors. And just like that, Odysseus was yanked from his quiet life and dragged into a massive global conflict.
10 years. Let that sink in for a second. For a full decade, the Greeks just battered themselves against the seemingly impenetrable walls of Troy. Thousands of lives lost. Legendary, larger-than-life heroes falling in the dirt. But all that brute force, it completely failed. They were stuck in a devastating, bloody stalemate. Somebody had to look at this endless, pointless violence and realize, okay, this paradigm is totally broken. That somebody was Odysseus. Sure, he wasn't the absolute greatest fighter in a physical sense, but his mind was incredible. He figured out a fundamental truth that would literally change history. You couldn't beat Troy by force. You had to hack it with strategy.
So, he engineers what is basically an ancient heist, breaking it down into 4 pure genius steps. Step 1. Construct a gigantic wooden horse. Step 2. Hide a hand-picked group of elite soldiers right inside its belly. Step 3. And honestly, this is where the psychological warfare really kicks in. Have the entire Greek army completely abandon the shores, sailing just out of sight. And finally, step 4. Leave the horse sitting there as this deceptive, irresistible peace offering to the gods.
Now, we get to a fatal decision driven by sheer, utter exhaustion. The stories tell us that while some people definitely warned them, do not bring that thing inside, others just desperately wanted to believe the Greeks had finally given up. I mean, the Trojans were bone-tired from a 10-year siege. Confirmation bias completely won out, ignoring every bad omen. They literally pulled that colossal structure right through their impenetrable gates.
The execution of this trap is just a masterclass in timing. Night falls and Troy throws a massive celebration, completely blinded by relief. By midnight, this heavy, drunken silence falls over the sleeping city, and then the trap springs. A hidden door opens, Greek soldiers rappel right down into enemy territory, and they stealthily unlock the massive gates from the inside. By dawn, the returning Greek army is flooding right through.
The result was absolute, total devastation. This mighty city that had withstood a full decade of relentless battering, it burned to the ground in a single night. It's the ultimate proof of what we're talking about here. Intellect and pure strategy accomplished in just a few hours what 10 years of brute force never could.
So picture Odysseus, standing on his ship, looking out at the sea. The greatest war of his age was finally, actually over. He truly believed the hardest part was behind him. After 10 years of endless bloodshed, all he had to do was sail the relatively short distance back home to Ithaca.
But here is the cruelest twist of fate you can imagine. This master strategist who had just orchestrated the era's absolute greatest victory, the guy expecting a quick, easy trip home, wouldn't see his family for another 10 years. Winning the war wasn't the end of his story. Honestly, it was barely the prologue.
That false victory immediately plunged him into a gauntlet that would test his brilliant mind far, far more than Troy ever did. He was sailing directly into vengeful gods, literal monsters, supernatural storms, and mind-bending temptations. Every single ounce of strategy he used to win that war, he was going to need all of it just to survive the open ocean.
So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on as we wrap up this explainer. How would you survive if the moment you finally achieved the impossible, the moment you won a decade-long war, turned out to be just a curse in disguise? What do you do when your hard-won victory is really just the starting line for a 10-year nightmare? Keep questioning the stories you think you know, and always keep an eye out for the strategies hidden right beneath the surface.